$10,000 sat in my savings for the first time on a $75,000 salary, and the weird part is my pay never moved. No raise, no bonus, no side hustle that suddenly turned into a software company. Same job, same direct deposit, same rent, same student loan payment, same Target run that somehow becomes $130 because toothpaste was on sale and so was a lamp. I want to be straight with you right up front, because the title sounds like one of those money stories where somebody secretly lived in a shed and ate lentils out of a thermos. Not what happened. I still went out. I still bought coffee. I still had months where I looked at my checking account and thought, okay, the math ain't mathing. The difference was not discipline in the movie montage sense. The difference was that I stopped treating saving like a moral decision I had to make over and over and started treating it like plumbing. Water goes here, not there, because the pipes make it go there. If you're smart enough to earn it but somehow never keep it, hit, subscribe, and stick around, because this channel is built for exactly that problem. Not get-rich noise. Systems that still work when you're tired, busy, and one bad week from saying, forget it. Before we get into the months, let me tell you the ugly starting point, because I think the starting point is the part people skip. I was making $75,000 a year, which sounded like real adult money where I grew up. After taxes, health insurance, and the little 401k contribution I barely understood, my take-home was around $4,000 a month. Rent was $1,650 with a roommate in a place where the dishwasher sounded like it had personal beef with us. Car payment $300 and change. Insurance $170-ish. Student loans $280 on a good plan I did not feel good about. Utilities, phone, groceries, gas, subscriptions, the Venmo drizzle of birthdays and brunch, and I'll get you back, and somehow the month ate everything. On paper, I was fine. In my body, I was running on fumes. And that gap right there, between paper fine and body broke, is where this whole story lives. My first attempts were embarrassingly earnest. I made a spreadsheet with tabs. Tabs, man. I color-coded categories like a person who had clearly watched exactly one budgeting video and decided color was the missing ingredient. I set a goal: save $800 a month. Very clean, very inspiring. Completely fake, because I pulled $800 from the ceiling after looking at my salary, not from the actual rhythm of my checking account. What happened next will shock no one who has ever had a debit card. Payday hits on Friday. You feel rich in a fake way, like the balance is a compliment. Saturday, you say yes to dinner because you've been good all week. Monday, you buy the nicer dog food because the dog looked sad, which is not a financial category, but try telling that to your heart. By the second Wednesday, you're doing that quiet mental math at Trader Joe's, moving things around in the cart, pretending the eggs were always too expensive anyway. Then month end comes and there's maybe $200 left if nothing weird happens. Something weird always happens. A tire. A flight for a wedding you technically said yes to 8 months ago. A dental cleaning where the front desk says a number like it's normal. So you transfer the $200 back, feel guilty, and tell yourself next month you'll be serious. People do this for years and call it a personality flaw. It looks personal from the inside. From the outside, it's a schedule problem wearing a shame costume. Most folks are not bad with money in some deep character way. They're getting paid on one rhythm, billed on another rhythm, tempted on a third rhythm, and then blamed for not moving like a machine. That was me. I thought I needed to become harder. What I needed was to make the soft version of me irrelevant. The turning point came from a very unsexy Tuesday. My checking account showed $712, my rent was due in 5 days, and I had a full-time job. I remember staring at the balance while my microwave made that angry little beep, thinking this is not a budgeting issue, this is a timing issue. The money was technically coming. It was just never standing still long enough for me to touch it with intention. So I did something that felt almost too simple to respect. I opened the calendar in my phone and wrote down the dates money moved. Not amounts first. Dates. Payday, the 15th and the last day. Rent, the 1st. Credit card, the 21st. Car, the 7th. Student loan, the 12th. Utilities wandered around like they had boundary issues. Subscriptions were scattered everywhere, little paper cuts on different days. Once I saw it laid out, I got annoyed in a useful way. My savings plan had been asking me to make a noble choice on the worst possible day. After rent, after the card, after life had already taken bites. I was trying to scoop water out of a boat instead of plugging the hole near the faucet. If your money app is open right now, look at the last payday and the next 5 withdrawals after it. Not the total. The order. That order is the whole fight. If saving happens last, saving is optional. And optional money, in a normal American month, is already spent in your head. Here's the first mistake I made that I'll own clean. For years, I treated the checking account like a scoreboard. High number meant relax, low number meant panic. That is a terrible scoreboard. Checking is not your wealth. Checking is a hallway. People leave coats in hallways, packages in hallways, old Amazon boxes in hallways. If your money lives in the hallway, it will get stepped on. I picked a number that sounded almost insulting: $625 per paycheck. Not because it was magical, but because 2 paychecks made $1,250 a month, and $1,250 over 8 months got me near $10,000 with a little interest and a little year-end extra if I didn't get cute. Could I have aimed higher? Sure. Had aiming higher ever worked? No shot. The key was not the amount. The key was the minute the amount moved. I set an automatic transfer for $625 to leave checking the same morning paycheck landed. Same morning. Before my brain could turn the deposit into a personality. If payday was Friday, the money was gone before the first "we should grab drinks" text. If payday was the last day of the month, it left before rent even cleared, because rent had its own lane and I had finally admitted which bills were actually fixed. At first, I kept the savings in the same bank, because I was lazy and change is heavy. Bad idea. The little transfer back button was right there, smiling at me. So in month 2, I moved the savings to a high-yield account at an online bank, not because the annual yield made me rich, but because the money took a day or two to come back. That delay mattered more than the rate. Friction is underrated. Convenience is expensive. I know some money people love to talk like the only thing that matters is squeezing every drop of yield. Yield matters, but behavior matters first. A slightly better rate on money you keep rating is worse than a decent rate on money you cannot casually grab while doom scrolling on the couch. This is where I need to say the responsible part out loud. Nothing here is a guarantee, and I'm not your advisor. A savings account for an emergency cushion is different from investing, where risk is real and the line on the chart can absolutely go down. Education, not financial advice. The point of this story is control, not magic. Month 1 felt heroic, which should have warned me. Heroic is not sustainable. I cooked 3 dinners, canceled 1 subscription, and walked around like a man who had solved capitalism. Then a buddy from college texted about a bachelor weekend in Nashville, the kind where every meal is, "we'll split it later," and nobody splits anything until everyone has forgotten the truth. Old me would have said yes, put half on a card, and called it memories. New system me had a problem. The $625 was already gone from checking before I could spend it, and the savings account took long enough to reach that I'd have to admit I was robbing future me for hot chicken. I still went. That's important. I didn't become a monk in a blazer. I gave the trip a number before the group chat got drunk on vibes. 400 total, not including the flight I'd already paid for. When the number was gone, I became the guy ordering the cheaper thing and not apologizing like it was a medical condition. Nobody cared. That's the part that hits. The fear says everyone will notice you're being weird with money. Reality says everyone is too busy wondering if they look broke. Most people are performing solvent. Most tables have at least 2 people doing quiet math and 1 person pretending the card was declined because of fraud protection. If you've been avoiding looking because you think the answer is never have fun again, I get it. A plan that requires you to become boring is not a plan. It's a short-lived punishment with spreadsheet formatting. The system only survived because I built in money for being a person. Not a lot. Enough to keep the rebellion small. Month 3 is where the shine wore off and the actual machine got tested. Nothing dramatic happened. No emergency. No windfall. Just a regular stretch where the direct deposit came in, the transfer left, rent cleared, and my checking account looked thinner than my mood thought it should. That thin feeling is dangerous. It tricks smart people into undoing good systems. You see less available cash and your brain goes, "We are in decline," when really the money is in a better room. I had to rename the accounts because I am apparently a golden retriever with direct deposit. Checking became spending. Savings became do not touch unless bleeding. Corny? Absolutely. Effective? Also, absolutely. Around this time, I started noticing how much of my spending was calendar-based, not desire-based. Sunday reset spending. Target run because the week felt long. DoorDash after a meeting that should have been an email because cooking felt like one more performance review. The purchase wasn't always about the thing. It was about changing the temperature of the day. So I stopped asking, "Can I afford this?" That question is too generous. It lets your future bills sit quietly in the corner like they don't exist. I started asking, what does this cost the day before payday? Same object, different answer. A $60 DoorDash night on the 28th is annoying. On the 12th, after rent and before the card, it can start a chain reaction that ends with a transfer back from savings and a little speech about being a disaster. People love to say awareness fixes behavior. Sometimes. Mostly awareness plus timing fixes behavior. Put the hard part where you are strong, not where you are weak. I was strong on payday morning. I was weak at 10:47 at night with a phone in my face. Quick pause, because that last part probably describes someone you know better than you want to admit. If this is landing, tap like so it reaches somebody else whose checking account is basically a hallway. And send it to the friend who always says, "I'm just bad with money," while doing 3 paid side gigs and 0 automatic transfers. No speech needed. Just send it. The first real emergency came in month 5, and I almost missed how big the moment was because it felt boring. My car made a noise like a fork in a garbage disposal. The shop said $980, which is a rude number with a little bow on it. Old pattern. Panic. Put it on the card, promise to pay it off, watch the balance become a roommate, then spend the next 4 months negotiating with interest. New pattern. Swear in the parking lot like a gentleman, call for the estimate, move the money from savings, fix the car, keep living. No payment plan. No minimum payment. No. How did this happen when I knew exactly how it happened because adult life is apparently sponsored by surprise break work? Here's the thing nobody claps for. The emergency did not become a story. There was no spiral. I didn't have to white knuckle through the next week or pretend the card balance was fine because the minimum was only $40. The system didn't make me richer that month. It made the hit smaller. That's the emotional payoff people underestimate. A cushion doesn't just protect money. It protects your nervous system from turning every inconvenience into a 5-alarm identity crisis. You still hate the bill. You just don't hate yourself after. And if you're listening thinking, cool story, but my $10,000 would disappear in 1 bad week, fair. That fear is rational. Plenty of households are 1 transmission or 1 out-of-network bill away from chaos. This is not me saying $900 is cute. This is me saying the first version of safety is not a giant wall. It's a door that closes before the whole house fills with smoke. By then, the balance was around $5,000 and change, not 10. Enough to notice the shape of relief. Month 6 was the plateau, and plateaus are sneaky because nothing is wrong. The transfer kept leaving. The savings kept growing. My checking stopped giving me that fake rich Friday glow, which was good and also weirdly sad, like quitting a toxic situationship that still had great playlists. This is where I almost broke the system by improving it. I started reading about optimization and got that itch. Maybe I should chase a slightly higher annual yield. Maybe I should open another account for travel. 1 for gifts, 1 for car stuff, 1 for vet stuff, 1 for the phantom future couch. Maybe I should move everything twice and feel extremely competent. I know this sounds random, but stay with me. The urge to optimize is often procrastination wearing a lab coat. When a system starts working, your brain misses the drama of fixing. It wants a project. So it creates complexity and calls it maturity. Then one day you have 7 accounts, 3 transfer rules, and no idea why $100 moved to a bucket named Q3 alignment. I kept 2 buckets only. Emergency cushion in the online savings. Everything else stayed simple until $10,000 was done. After that, sure, get fancy if fancy makes you behave better. Before that, boring is the move. There's a collective pattern here worth naming without turning it into a lecture. A lot of people don't fail because they lack information. They fail because the middle is quiet. No one posts the 9th automatic transfer. No one brags about not upgrading the plan. The middle is where money is actually made, and it looks like leaving a decent thing alone. I had to learn that the hard way in other parts of life. I once rebuilt a workout routine so many times I got fitter at planning than exercising. Money did the same thing until I made "don't touch it" part of the design. Let's talk numbers clean, because vague motivation is how this topic turns into soup. $75,000 a year in my city at that time became roughly $4,000 a month after the usual paycheck stuff. $625 per paycheck was $1,250 a month. Call it 31% of take-home if you want the math, but the percentage mattered less than the fact that it cleared before I could negotiate with it. Fixed stuff ate a lot. Rent $1,650. Car, insurance, loan, utilities, phone, groceries, gas, the true basics pushed past $3,000 in normal months. That left a skinny margin, which is exactly why the automatic piece mattered. If I waited until the end, the margin would be gone. If I moved it first, the margin had to behave. Did I cut things? Yes, but not the cute list people expect. I didn't cancel joy. I killed duplicates and ghosts. 2 streaming services were enough, not 5. The $14.99 subscription from March got executed in June. The Amazon Subscribe and Save that kept sending me fancy vitamins I was afraid to cancel got one honest look. I stopped using delivery as a Tuesday personality and kept it for actual emergencies, like when the sink backed up and cooking was not spiritually available. The biggest cut was invisible, fewer transfers back from savings. That sounds like a joke until you realize each rescue transfer has a cost beyond money. Every time you bail yourself out from the account that was supposed to be sacred, you teach your brain that rules are weather. Then payday becomes a negotiation instead of a launch. People ask what app did it. No app did it. My bank's boring automatic transfer did it. Apps are nice mirrors. They are bad parents. Somewhere around month 8, I crossed 8,000 and felt the pull to declare victory early. This is a very specific temptation, getting close enough to the goal that your identity wants the trophy before the work is finished. I started mentally spending the 10,000 in 3 directions. A trip. A better laptop. Maybe invest some because I had read 2 articles and felt dangerous. That last one needs care. Investing can be powerful, and learning it matters, but an emergency cushion is not the place to prove you're brave. Money you may need fast does not belong somewhere that can dip right when your car, your job, or your body picks the same month to act up. If you invest, understand the risk, know your timeline, and don't confuse a long-term index fund with next month's safety. Again, education, not advice. Your situation has details I can't see. What helped was giving the 10,000 a job title. Not a dream. A job. This money covered 3 months of bare-bones life in my world at that time. Rent share, basic food, utilities, car, insurance, minimum loan payment. Not a fun 3 months. A survivable 3 months. When the number had a job, it stopped feeling like a pile I could skim. Here's a present tense check for you. If your income paused next Friday, what breaks first, and on what date? Not generally. Date. Rent on the 1st. Card on the 21st. Car insurance whenever that little email shows up pretending it's friendly. Most anxiety gets louder when it's blurry. Give the fear a calendar and it becomes a problem with edges. I don't say that to freak you out. I say it because blurry fear is expensive. It makes you buy relief in $20 increments and call it self-care. Real care is less photogenic. Real care is an automatic transfer you forget exists until the day it saves your week. The reframe that finally stuck was this. I had been asking willpower to do a scheduling job. Willpower is bad at calendars. It is emotional, dramatic, and weirdly confident at midnight. Systems don't care how you feel. That used to sound cold to me. Now it sounds merciful. Think about how normal the failure pattern is. The card is designed to be easy when you're weak. Delivery is designed to be one thumb away when you're tired. Credit is marketed like breathing. Student loans restart, insurance changes, rent jumps, friends plan, weddings in cities with expensive appetizers, and somehow the individual is supposed to improvise perfectly every month. Come on, that's not a personal flaw. That's an obstacle course with better branding. Once I stopped making every month a referendum on my character, the behavior got boring in the best way. Payday came, money moved, bills had lanes, fun had a cap, emergencies became events instead of disasters. The biggest change was not the balance. It was that money stopped narrating my worth every 4 days. That doesn't mean I became calm forever. I still checked the account too much. I still had a Sunday where I bought throw pillows like they were going to fix my childhood. I still felt that little drop when checking looked low even though savings was rising. But the system kept working while I had feelings. That was new. Feelings used to be in charge. Now they could ride in the car, just not hold the wheel. If you take one thing from this whole story, take this. Build for the version of you who has had a long week, not the version who just watched a motivational video with a protein shake. That future tired person is the one who needs the railing. Here's the exact setup, short and practical. Pick the next payday, not the 1st of the month, not Monday, not after things calm down. Next payday. Open your bank app and find the automatic transfer option. Move a fixed amount to a separate savings account on the morning the deposit lands. If your income changes a lot, use a floor you can hit in a rough month, then add manual extra only after the essentials clear. Keep the savings at a different bank if your thumb is honest about itself. Name it something that makes rating it feel a little gross. Let the interest be what it is. The point is separation and consistency first. Then give the cushion a job. 1 month bare bones is a start. 3 months is stronger for a lot of people, more if your income swings or your household depends on one paycheck. Don't use it for a sale. Don't use it because a trip might not happen again. Use it for the stuff that would otherwise become debt, panic, or a lie you tell yourself about paying it off soon. Call back to the beginning. Same 75,000 salary, same direct deposit, same rent, same imperfect person. The money did not appear because I became impressive. It appeared because I removed one daily decision and moved it to the one moment I was reliably adult. No bridge this week from me, because I don't want to shove you toward a random video just to keep you clicking. If you want the next step, ask the comments what floor number would make you breathe easier: 500, 1,000, 3 months, or the full 10,000. Tell me the date your next payday hits and the transfer you're brave enough to automate. Make the transfer before your feelings wake up. Future you is not stronger. Future you is just better protected.